All right, huge movie fanatics coming back yet again with basically the fifth Child's Play movie? I'm just going to call it a Child's Play movie. I suppose you could call it a Chucky movie, which is Seed of Chucky. Now, just like we've been doing today, we didn't mention that we kind of did. Well, I mentioned that they're like, I love you, but we didn't go into what happened after that.
I purposely didn't. I know about. I thought about the ending of the previous movie, but I didn't want to mention it, just because I figured it would tie better into this one.
Here. Oh my gosh, he's doing it intentionally. So as we didn't mention, as you probably know, Chucky and Tiffany, a couple of dolls got together in this last one and exchanged some fluids.
I like that line where she's like, do you have a rubber? He's like, do I have a rubber? Look at me, I'm all rubber. Oh, I thought you were plastic. Tiffany, just kiss me.
That is funny, but it's still a dumb movie. So we come to you back with Seed of Chucky. And by the time this came out, I was just like, forget it. I'm not going to see it in the theater. Did you see it in the theater?
No.
Okay, good.
I haven't seen any of them in the theater.
Oh, okay. So I ended seeing them in the theater and I saw the first 4 in the theater. So after that, I'm like, I'm not seeing Seed of Chucky in the theater. So I saw this twice. I saw this, on video right when it came out, and I just rewatched it yesterday, or not yesterday, within the last week or whatever. Because I figured, if it were up to me, we'd do these reviews. So luckily I'm getting my way. So I rewatched it, and I remember thinking it was just so stupid. And when I put it on, I was like, because I remember the beginning being, I think I remember being, spoiler alert, a dream, because it's just like, what? So to me, for me, there's more stuff that's in here that's like, ooh, that's kind of cool, because there's so many times where it's like goes here and it's like the beginning where it's just like, you don't know what the hell this is. It's like, oh, what's his father? The thing is, I've seen this twice and I already pretty much forgot. It's a weird movie that, it like you see it and there's nothing, it's like a mind wipe. You don't even remember anything about it, even though I've seen it like 3 or 4 days ago. But I remember that, the beginning's a dream, that this, and then I think it is cool to actually just start the movie with a dream of the offspring of Chucky and Tiffany. And that's how we introduce him. And it's interesting having the movie start with that traditional Chucky scene, and then having it be a dream of this tortured. And I think that I remember really hating the character of whatever the Glenda. I remember really hating the character, and then not hating it so much when I just saw it. Being one of the most better things in the movie. I think why I hated it so much in the beginning or the first time is just so kind of gross looking, I guess. Yeah. So, but actually, I kind of like the character this time around. Because it's just like, oh, what am I? And then you're like, wouldn't it be China? Why is it Japan? Like, made in Japan on the wrist, it'd be China.
Yeah, I don't know.
So anyway, and then I was like, how the hell? Because I can't even remember at the end of the 4th one, but how Tiffany gets destroyed. They both pretty much get destroyed.
Yeah, she burns.
Yeah.
And then he shoots her, up. And then he gets shot up.
So
he stabs her. She takes the knife.
The blade. Get off my blade.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was watching this the second time a few days ago, thinking, how the hell do they come back?
I thought that immediately too.
But I thought this is one of the best things about the movie. I thought the way that they were brought back was pretty goddamn great. And pretty much after we see an intro of Glenn or whatever, then we come back to maybe, I don't know if we see Jennifer Tilly, which is another thing I think is kind of creative, to actually have Jennifer Tilly playing herself. Like, oh, my roles suck and I gotta, go fuck people for parts, which, who knows, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, maybe Don anyway. Was that his name? Don
Mancini, I think is what it is. I could be wrong. It's like Morelli or something.
No, it's definitely Mancini.
It's Don then, yeah.
You got the first name.
I knew it was the first, yeah.
So between both of us, we'll get his name right. But I thought there were interesting points of this movie, like the opening being the dream of what's his name, Jennifer Tilly playing herself, and the way that then we see this Christmas scene that's just like, what the fuck, Santa? And then it's like Chucky kills Santa, and you're just like, what the hell is going on? And it's like ring, cut, and then we pull back and it's like a movie set, and it's just like, it's inspired to me in a way of just being like a series of cool ideas that they don't really do anything with, kind of a movie. I just like the movie. The only good things about the movie for me is like just, I guess, some of those intros of how you think it's one way and then it's not. But I do like the way of how it is. It keeps getting more and more contrived though, how Chucky comes back, because now it's like we don't even have like the original dolls or anything to transfer anything to. It's just like all he does is say a couple words off the back of his goddamn little thing, which came up at the end of, again, it came up during the fourth one, which I don't think, if you go back to first Child's Play, you don't think he's wearing a necklace. They just photoshopped that in the picture of him being dead. So it's just like becomes more and more contrived of how he comes back. But the idea of having the two props, Tiffany and Chucky, so that's how they can come back. But he literally comes and just reads like "How Day Dewey Dimbla," and then they're like, and that's just, give me a break. But I can't really remember what happens. That's kind of where the movie. I remember the movie has a cool decapitation where some guy dies, and one of them, Tiffany grabs one end and Chucky grabs it. Don't they pull it and the guy's head spins off? And I can't really remember much after that. I remember this British girl in the movie being like Jennifer Tilly's assistant, being unbelievably gorgeous, like her face.
I don't even remember.
And she's great. And maybe I'll hand it off to you because I can't remember. I'd probably, what did I give?
You gave the previous one 2 stars.
This is probably, I like it, I don't know if I like it more. I think there's things I like more about it, but I think as a whole, it's kind of lame. So we'll just go, maybe just 2 stars again. Because there's aspects I like. There's a lot of funny stuff, but it's not necessarily memorable because I can't remember it.
All right.
I'm really curious.
You're right, this movie is really forgettable. I've seen it twice, and I like the idea of the movie. The idea of the movie is really interesting, creative, smart, unique, but it doesn't go anywhere. And Don Mancini is not a director, at least in this stage of his career. Like, it shows that this is the first-time filmmaker. Like, there was nothing.
Is it his first movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
And, like, it doesn't, like, he showed no directorial skills whatsoever. I actually think the screenplay is kind of good, at times anyway. But then you have the stupid, like, Britney Spears scene.
Like,
what the hell?
That's what I saw in the trailers, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna see this.
Like, it got to be the point where, like, Bride of Chucky was funny in that there was some really funny one-liners, but people tend to be funny in real life. They every once in a while somebody will come up with, like, a funny pun or something like that, who just has, like, a good zinger, and the movie had a lot of those, but they seemed natural. They didn't necessarily seem forced, with the exception of it would take 3 or 4 movies just to do it justice, but that was a nice little wink at the camera. That was the only one in that movie. This movie is nothing but winks at the camera. There wasn't like creative funny one-liners, it was a bunch of stuff that was intended to be funny for fans of the franchise. And, like, well, I liked that idea, and a better filmmaker maybe would have been able to sell it. This just kind of fell flat. I liked the Glen or Glenda thing in that it was funny because Ed Wood has a very famous movie called Glen or Glenda where the main character doesn't know if he wants to be a man or a woman and all this kind of stuff, and I liked how they played with that in this. Thought that was creative. That's about the end of it. I thought Billy Boyd, who voiced Glen or Glenda, did a good job voicing it, but it was just a weird, off-putting kind of character.
Yeah, you didn't like looking at him.
No, yeah, exactly. Whereas, like, Chucky's gross-looking, but it's at this point an endearing way in that you've seen him for 5 movies now. And Tiffany is an attractive, creepy-ass doll. Jennifer Tilly is...
Attractive doll?
She was, I mean...
Alright, we'll leave it at that.
But, like, the movie, as you mentioned, like, it does the Scream 4 fake-out thing a little too much.
Yeah.
But I'd give this movie 1.5, I want to say. Ideas are good, but it just kind of falls flat because you had a weak-ass director. And it could have used a second rewrite. But this, I mean, the idea is good. The screenplay is there, it just needed to be refined. So, I guess that's all I have to say about
Yeah, I don't really have... it's so weird how I can't remember.
It had so much potential to fall flat.
It's weird how I can't remember anything.
It is really forgettable. Like, I've seen it twice, and until you started talking about a couple things, I was completely forgot about that.
I forgot about the whole second half.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah.
I think Yeah, Tiffany ends up getting transferred into
Jennifer Tilly.
But what happens to Chucky?
I can't remember. Chucky died. I remember Chucky getting killed.
I can't remember how.
I can't either.
I just watched the mother.
I thought she died too, though, but I can't remember. I thought she died in Jennifer Tilly, but I can't remember. So there you have it.
All right, well, thanks for watching.